Hello everybody, welcome back to Throttle Grotto. In this video, we're going to do some upgrades to my daily driver, which some of you may find incredibly boring and uninteresting. It's a 2019 RAV4. I actually love this car for a daily. It does everything I need it to do. It hauls stuff, it's quiet, it gets decent enough fuel mileage, and has all-wheel drive. It's a really good utility vehicle. It's a great appliance. Pretty inexpensive to maintain, easy to work on. That said, there are a couple of shortcomings. One is the infotainment system. First part of this video is going to be upgrading the infotainment to allow Android Auto to run. And then the second part is going to be taking care of these seats, which are like, I should have never bought a vehicle that has like gray or white shades of interior, because I'm always working on something, I'm always getting dirty, and it just doesn't hold up under me. So if you're here for the stereo, I'm going to show you how that goes really quickly, because it's a very easy job to do. What I've done is I've installed, so this is a 2021 Toyota Corolla Stereo. The stock stereo that comes in these has a smaller screen. It doesn't have any Android Auto capability. I really wanted to have that for driving. So I got this out of an eBay auction for like under 200 bucks. I'll put the part number in here of the stereo that I used. So there's a ton of videos on this procedure, but it's really quite simple. You come in here with a plastic pry tool and you pop this cover off. This cover comes up, and then there's 4 10mm bolts that hold the stereo into the dash. Let me see if I can do this with one hand. There we go. And that's it. So you can see there, there's two 10 mils there. The whole stereo pulls straight out of the dash, like towards you. And then everything is color coded and like plug specific on the back of the stereo. So getting the stereo out of the dash is really easy. So this is the old stereo, and you can see, not side by side, but it's a very basic piece of equipment. It has plugs on the back, and these all match the new stereo. Everything plugs right in. It's super easy to do. You will have to change, so this is the fascia from the Corolla Stereo. And if I put these side by side, you can see how much bigger the screen is in the new stereo versus the old one. The nice thing is that, actually, I had that upside down. So this kind of there we go. You can kind of see it a little bit. So overall, the housing is the exact same size. The screen is what's different. And these are interchangeable. So you have to remove this item from the Corolla Stereo, and there's just a few nuts that you have to undo. And then on the back, so there's all these tiny screws that go all the way around, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them that hold the shroud onto the RAV4 stereo that you'll need to undo. And it really helps if you have some JIS screwdrivers. It's not essential, but make sure you have like either that or some of these tiny, like, I don't know if they call these jeweler's screwdrivers or something, but something with a small, sharp, fresh point on it, because you don't want to strip one of those out. So after you get those removed, you can move the shroud from the RAV4 stereo to the Corolla Stereo, and the holes are there, so it all lines up, it all bolts on. These brackets are on the side of the Corolla Stereo, and you'll have to remove those. And then you just install the ones that were on your RAV4 stereo into the corresponding holes. There's a whole bunch of holes on the side of this, so a lot of configurations, fits a lot of different vehicles. And then you can plug in and bolt the stereo in, and it's just that easy. So one thing that I did have to do, because Android Auto honestly sucks, is I had to install an additional module up underneath the dash here. And I got this off of Amazon. It was like $50, and it plugs right here into the USB port. And then I mounted it up here underneath with some sticky tape. Just like some Velcro, so that if I need to pull it out, I can. It's two benefits. One is that it is up out of the way. It doesn't interfere with anything if I want to put stuff into the little package tray here. I still have access to the 12-volt port if I need it. And since it's illuminated, it actually illuminates the tray now, and the glow of the adapter, and I'll put the link for the adapter that I got down below. The link for the adapter matches the interior lighting, so now this is illuminated blue when I turn the car on. So, but I'll show you how it all goes. It's all pretty good. So it starts up just like a normal Toyota Stereo does, like it would in the Corolla. I have to wait for it to catch up. Now this is the stock screen that you get in the in like the RAV4, and it's got all this information on it, which is also available in your dash cluster. But what you don't have is Android Auto. So what you don't have is you don't have the Android Auto and all of the features of Android Auto that you get when you have, let's avoid copyright strikes. But all the Android Auto functionality works as it should, and you have all of the options available to you: messaging, navigation, your music, phone calls, messages, all that stuff. Your little message will pop up here. It works just like Android Auto should, which is awesome. That was what I wanted. And if you want to go back and use the regular screen, you can. You still have all of those options. All of your menu options are still available. I'm going to go to menu and then setup. And I had to turn on the projection settings for Android Auto, and I turned off CarPlay because I don't have CarPlay. But I had to make that turn on, and then obviously I needed the adapter. And you can see here a little bit of the blue light illuminating from above, so it helps with the interior ambiance a little bit. And it's really that easy. It's a plug and play job. Then when I first plugged it in, it showed like a battery thing here for the hybrid, and like once I started the car, it recalibrated itself, said, wait, I'm not a hybrid. There's no way. So this part of the job, really straightforward. Highly recommend if you have an early RAV, like an early 4.5 RAV4, to do this upgrade. I think I spent like $250 on it. That was way cheaper than any other way that I could have done a Android Auto or integrated upgrade to the dash. So if you shop around on like eBay and like carpart.com, like there's deals to be had. You just gotta like dig through and find the deals. So 21 Corolla Stereo, huge upgrade for the RAV4. Now let's talk about these seats. Okay, pardon the filth, because this is my daily driver. And yeah, so one of the problems with having gray cloth interior is that literally anytime you touch it, it becomes dirty. It doesn't hide dirt at all. So in fact, if it gets a little bit dirty and then you sit on it with like a wet jacket or a wet pair of pants or something, you get these splotches that, like, you know, like light colored stains. And you can see here, like, I'm not the white linen type of individual. So yeah, anytime I put like a wet bag on these seats or anything, it leaves these little dots. And I could maintain these better, but honestly, I would rather change them because that's what I do. I make things better and improve things. I'll show you what I've got to work with. All right, the first thing I've got to work with is this driver's seat here. I picked this up from the junkyard for cheap, like super cheap. Now, we're not going to have black interior in this car because that's passé. But the reason I bought this seat is because I wanted to replace the foam. The foam in the seat that I have is degrading a little bit. It's not broken down yet, but my Toyota's got 70,000 miles on it. 2 years of driving newer foam in the seat. So I can take this seat apart, use these foams, put it back together with the foam that I have, clean this fabric up in like the washer, and sell this seat for what I paid for it. Because the lower foam from Toyota was $160. The upper one was $240 or $270. So new seat foam the cheap way, and I'll get my money back. I might have to wait a while to get my money back, but someone will need a nice clean driver's seat at some point, and I can recycle this part and use what I need out of it. All right, so this is what I bought. Again, sometimes I do things that are a little bold, and I question myself until they're done, and then they look great. This is what we're working with for the RAV4. Yep, that's right. It's almost a cardinal red kit. Now it's soft tex, but it's got a really nice pattern to it. It's kind of a geometric pattern for the seat covers. They're cut for the so the side airbags work as intended, and I think that these are going to look amazing on the car. I will have some issues matching this color up and it probably overpowering the rest of the interior of the car. I'm going to go from that janky gray to this. It's going to look just like my creeper. Oh God, it's going to look just like my creeper. I got in the kit. I got made by a company called Roadwire. Not familiar with Roadwire. I got it from a guy online. It was on eBay. But I've got the seat tops and bottoms, the headrests, the rear base, the armrest cover, and the two upper back seat covers. So I have to put all this on now. And I have to figure out how this all comes apart. So I should be able to stretch this over the top and relieve around the top of the seat. Yes, there's more of these plastic guides that are embedded in the foam. These here, I wonder if I can just pop that clip apart. Instead of sliding it. No, it's also not bad just to slide it. Now I have to figure out, because this one runs all the way down and around the bottom. There we go. So it does look like I can, if I gently tug on it a little bit and don't pry too hard, because they're still fairly new seats, I can get these clips undone and then get all these off. Like I said, I'm trying to reuse. So I don't know if you probably can't see what I'm doing here, but here you can see in the foam, there's these little clips, and they just grab the plastic piping, and then you kind of have to work it out, but then that releases the seat material from the foam. Only a couple more to go. There's one. For now, I have a foam exposed. I have a seat material that I can hang up and let dry out or put straight into the wash. Now I just have to do that also for the bottoms. which kind of goes the same way. It's work on the clips. Don't damage the, whatever you call this piece of plastic. All right, you can tell I work in some of the finest conditions here. Basically a clean space. So I yanked out the rear seat. It comes out really easy. You just tug on the front, and then it's got these little hooks in the back. And I'm going to do this panel next because it's one of the largest ones and also one of the easiest ones to do. Literally have the same type of deal where there's just clips and stuff on the back here that go into the foam. And I think these just pop out of the foam. It's like a shaped foam that has all of this. You lift this off the little locking pins here. These guys just pop out of the foam pretty easily. Now I'm hoping this is made the same way that the fronts were. I got one that I forgot. There we go. And yes, we still have the same clip experience we had with the front seats. So I just need to undo all these clips, and then we'll get this one on. All right, now for the moment of truth. Do these covers actually go on easily? And my first impression is that I hope they do. I think we're good. I think I'm going to press. Plus, I've already paid for this stuff. I'm like committed to it. I've already got my seat torn apart. Definitely committed to it. I think that's going to be the challenge, is how easily these snap in. Like, they come apart super easy, but do they go back together super easy? Yeah, it's not too bad. You just kind of got to get the piping lined up with the clips. Way easier than using a set of hog ring pliers, I can tell you that. All right, one of the things I've noticed about this process is that the foam doesn't like to keep its shape. The groove, like right here, is widened up just a little bit from pulling the old friction clip out, wherever you want to call this thing. But yeah, that's the downside of not having a hog ring and a metal wire through the seat, is that you run into this occasionally where it does not want to stay in the foam after you've removed it. Definitely a downside. Hopefully, once I get the seat installed in the car, it will remain in place. All right. One of the nice things is that it's super easy to take these seat backs out. You just pop this little carpet panel up, fold that forward. There's two bolts here that lock the 14 mils that lock the whole back seat upper piece into the folding brackets. And then here we have zippers. And this seems pretty straightforward. Now I'm sure we'll have to get this piece of plastic off of here and figure out what's involved with that. But I should be able to take the headrest out same way we took the other ones out. Yep. And this probably has a similar release to how the back seats came out, or sorry, the front ones. So now this piece here undoes itself like that, and then we have access. There's a little clip I need to undo there. Use this guy here to pop this out. There we go. Maybe. Yep, just like that. And then once we get, so there's those little guys there that are hanging on. Undo some clips here. Okay, a couple things to notice. The area around the seat latch could probably be trimmed up a little bit. You will have to make the two little notches, if you choose to, here to slide the, have to make these notches here in the fabric to slide them over these pegs, again, if you choose to. And you will have to make your own holes for the headrest. So most of the time when you get stuff like this, they don't have the holes for the headrest, but you can push through and figure out where they're at once you have everything lined up. Make a little X in the material and push your headrest retainers in, and they snap right back in just like they never came out. Finish this one up. Passenger side one should be pretty much the same. The other thing to note is that stuff like this really comes into its own on a hot day. Car parked in the sun, all the material kind of stretches out and settles into place. A bunch of this type of stuff will work its way out of the material, and it'll look a lot nicer. You could also steam it, but I don't know if you're supposed to steam vinyl. Okay, one thing I seem to be encountering with the headrest is that the fabric is actually molded to the headrest. Fortunately, people should already have headrests. So I think these are intended to just be a cover for the fabric. I think that'll work. I think these will snap together. No one will ever be the wiser that there's squishy cloth underneath. Okay, I was right. For once, broken clocks are right 2 times a day. So this just folds over, locks in on itself, and yeah, just a cover for the factory headrest. So there we go. And this might be due to bunching and stuff like that. But I think a hot day in the sun and a lot of that will go away. Could also be like shipping, sitting in a box. I've had these in a box for 8 months. So, and unlike I said before, for the headrest stuff, you just kind of want to feel around, make sure make sure you get it in the right spot. You only can do this once, and then make a little X, and then get your stuff in there. There we go. There we go. And you might have to tap on those with a hammer just to seat them. Now I just need to get this piece on around the latch. So I'll do a little more trimming here, and then this should drop in real nicely. And then the last step is I have to transfer over these clips from the old cover, and it is ready to go back in. All right, I'll give you guys a little sneak peek here. Look at the difference in new versus the old. Yeah, I know the door panels are going to be an issue. I did find a set of black with red stitching door panels. Okay, so I started working on this is the passenger side upper back seat. And you have to disassemble this one a little bit further. You can kind of see the shape of it now. Because there's these bars inside that go around the frame of the head or the armrest. And you also have to get the seat belt out of the way. It has to go through this hole here, through the hole in the fabric. So it's a little more complex. So the nice thing is the seat fabric kind of opens up like a clamshell, and you can drop this whole piece in and kind of work it into position. Once you get it all in a position, hold on, I can't do this with one hand. All right, so I got this all back together. I still got a few things to do. I still got to get the seat belt thing snapped in. I've got to put the headrests, little cones or whatever you call the guides. The armrest is pretty easy to deal with. As you can see, there was a cup holder, so I did have to cut a hole for the cup holder, but then it just snaps back in. And yeah, I mean, probably never ever get used. I probably could have even not cut it out, but it's just a zipper and then it slides off. So that's really easy to deal with. We've already seen how the headrests work, so those are easy to deal with. Yeah, so I've just about got this one all wrapped up. I need to cut a small hole here for the guide, this one here, or yeah, this side, to guide the pivot for the armrest in. And then this all just sits in here like this, little floppy tongue that hangs out. So yeah, this part's almost done. Almost ready to go back in the car. Yeah, this has probably taken me an hour and change to get this all dialed up this far. So a little bit of trimming around here and a little bit of trimming on the back will also need to be done. So I'll need to trim around this a little bit for the cover that goes over it. And what I did is I just slid the cover on and then tapped it with a hammer a couple times to figure out where I needed to cut the little holes for those to drop through. So I just used my knife, made a little slit here in the felt, and dropped it through. And then this will all be back in the car, and the back seat will be done. All right, so the other half of the back seat is all done. So yeah, this took me a couple of hours because you do have to trim around this stuff to get these clips to fit in. Same thing with like the seat belt. I had to put on the headrests, cut the holes for the headrest for the plugs, make this fit in the back. But I mean, all things considered, for a $300 kit, I mean, this is turning out pretty good so far. I'm really excited to see all this in the car. And I also ordered door panels. I found a couple of deals on some door panels. So we're going to have red stitched door panels to match, and we'll swap all those out. And then we'll get to see the whole interior. All right, so here we go. We're going to start the redo on the passenger seat. All right, y'all knew the get what you pay for was going to come up at some point, and here's where it came up. So the way that they made this part of the seat, I'll show you on the driver's seat because I haven't done that yet, is these two little bars that are sewn in to the fabric, and that is how the factory did it. So I kind of copied what the factory did. I just took it off the old seat and then used some hog rings to close that gap, and then zip ties to make sure that the hog rings stay connected to this stuff. And then this, I mean, it's not a super big deal because this folds down over the top of it and covers it. You won't ever see it. It's just annoying that I had to cut parts off the old seats. Let me finish this up, do the driver's seat. All right, I figured I would show you a couple of the other things that I ran into while redoing the front seat. One is that the hook, or whatever you want to call this, on the inside where the lever is, this is the outside of the seat, doesn't line up with the hook in the seat on this rear one. So the factory piece is a lot longer and grabs both of these hooks and kind of works its way in behind this pivot. So I ended up just using a zip tie all the way around the hook here and then zip tying it to this hole here. It should keep it about the same amount of tension. The other thing that I ran into was here. So let me show you the factory mounting spot. So the factory has this bar sewn into the fabric that goes over those two hooks, and then this piece flops over and hooks into these hooks here, these little plastic hooks, and that just holds this piece of felt in place. So what I'm going to do instead is I hog ringed the piping here, and then I'm just going to zip tie through the hog ring and around this hook, and then I'll just make two little holes in the felt to cover that up. No one will ever know, but if you're going to do one of these seats, it's good stuff to know. All right, and then on the driver's side of the back of the upper seat, instead of putting in that webbing from the old seat, because I kind of want to sell that fabric if I can, I just did this, and then this just folds over and covers it. So I just did like 7 hog rings and then zip tied those together that should be plenty strong for the back of the upper of the back seat. All right, everybody, look at this improvement. I gotta say, man, this like really changes the interior of the car a lot. And I also have coming very soon, like now, got these. We got some red stripe door panels. And you can see now there's black and red with the little red stripe. Really makes this interior look 1,000,000% better compared to the gray. Now, yes, I have one more door panel that I have to swap out. I'll show you guys how to swap these door panels out. It's ridiculously easy. But I got to come up with a plan for this. And it doesn't have to be right away, but it'd be nice to take this vinyl. I think this is vinyl. I'm sure it comes off somehow, but it'd be nice to make that red to match the seats and the stripe of the door panels. But I'm not quite sure how to do that. And that's probably, like, I need to dye it, I think. But that's definitely a spring or summer job, not a winter job. So it can definitely stay like this for now. Let's get this other door panel swapped out, and then the interior project will be all wrapped up. It is super cold out, but I said I'd get this swapped out, so here we go. It is really, really easy to change this door panel. Let's see here. So come into this piece with like a little plastic scraper, something kind of thin, and then this all just unsnaps, and then there's a hook at the back, so it kind of slides off the end there, and then up in the little area where the door latch is, this piece pops out, and then right back in there is a Phillips head screw, and here are Phillips head screws. Then the whole door panel just lifts away, and there's two ball fittings behind the latch, and you just pop those out. All right, so I have the screws undone, and then the whole window switch piece. What I found easiest to do was to peel the door panel back and then reach up behind it and just pop it out with my hand. Super easy. Just kind of reach up inside here, and then you can pop the whole switch panel out, and might be easiest, you can just tuck it down into the door panel or undo the switches. Either way, it comes off pretty easy. So there's just two clips on the back that undo that. And then, so these come out like that and lift out. Green one goes on the bottom, white one goes on the top, and that's your door panel. And then you have to change this out. Sometimes they don't come with it. This whole latch assembly just pops out of the door panel, and you can swap it over to your new door panel. All right, and with that, the interior is done for now. I still need to do something about the dash. That gray panel that goes across the dash really doesn't match everything now. I knew that going into it, so I'm just gonna have to deal with that until spring, or I come up with a solution that works in cold and wet and rainy weather. So if you're new here, please like and subscribe. That helps out YouTube channels, not only mine, but it helps out YouTube channels in general. If you like seeing the RAV4 content and you want to see more of it, let me know what you'd like to see. I am working on a few more things, trying to get some more product that I can show you guys on the car. I will say it's a little bit difficult as a small channel under like 10,000 subscribers to get product. I generally have to buy, like, I've bought all the stuff to do this. Yeah, there's some cool things that I want to show you guys, but unfortunately the channel needs to grow a little bit more before I can get it for free. So, or I have to wait a little bit till I have some money that I can go buy this stuff. So that's all from Throttle Grotto for this time. Until next time, get out there and work on something.